What's up, everybody? This is Jez7780 here with Grind's Gaming Bite. We're going to be doing something that's very controversial. Maybe, I don't know if it's going to get liked or disliked, but I'm going to tell you the truth because that's what you come here for. The truth. And basically, stay tuned because we're going to find out deep inside of a fan's mind. What do Xbox fans really want? Let's go. What's up, everybody? Thank you for listening. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new here. This is a Grind's Gaming Bite. We also do our shows on the gaming Grindhouse on Monday nights at 8:30 with Frog Dope Gaming and special guests. This last show was great, incredible, biggest turnout. I want to thank everybody for everything and all the support to the channel. And I'm going to bring you another grinding episode here. So, like I mentioned in the preview, there's been a lot of news, as you know, with the Activision acquisition and just this hype of going on. And we're going to talk in another video about, the things that are changing with the Call of Duty exclusivity moving forward, which, seems to be another crazy thing that's going on. And you wonder why they're spending so much money. But it goes deeper than that. And it goes into everything that I see being hyped and promoted by Xbox fans, I guess, online and even the media per se. This whole comeback story, this Rocky Balboa Xbox, even though Rocky Balboa, it's from Rocky 4, really, Rocky Balboa, not Rocky 1, Rocky Balboa. This is the $1 trillion company that's supposedly the underdog. But what drives a lot of this motivation? As an Xbox fan, and you see, and people are like, well, I'm a disgruntled Xbox fan. I was all for it, and I saw the light. I saw what they were doing, and I wasn't a fan of it. When everybody jumped on that bandwagon going, oh, yeah, gaming for everybody. The console's not that important. It's PC. I was like, whoa, hold your roll. I spent 15 years, 20 years with a brand that was telling me that the console, they were bringing innovation. They would show me this console. They were bringing Xbox Live features. They were bringing games, exclusivity. They were taking things from Sony. They trotted out Kojima on stage. They're like, we got Metal Gear. We got day-and-date Final Fantasy. We're hitting them where it hurts. We got exclusivities with Titanfall. Like, they were throwing haymakers. All to just dissolve into kumbaya and gaming for everybody and all this other stuff, and Sony hit them. And that's what Xbox fans really want. Join me in going back to the past. And you may remember this. And again, hit that like. Let's go way back. A little day, a warm, hot, it was a hot day. A hot day. June 11th, 2013. Oh, so long ago. There was a thing that we used to know as E3. Something happened at that E3. And about a few weeks before that, when Microsoft had their event for the Xbox One. And that infamous TV, watching Price is Right, and saying the games will be at E3. Now, let me tell you an honest opinion. They had games at E3. They did demonstrate Titanfall. They showed some great games. Dead Rising. That's why I bought an Xbox One. They had games. Some good games that I wanted to play. But there was just messaging and poor marketing and just confusion. Still hasn't changed to this day. That's the thing that hurts them the most. Just see Halo 5 and even Halo and how all their other games that they've been promoting. They don't promote well. Their marketing, their left foot doesn't talk to the right foot, and they trip over themselves. But the messaging was poor. And there was a little old company called Sony that jumped on that and changed the gaming spectrum in 2013. I bought an Xbox One at launch. I didn't buy a PS4 at launch because I saw through that marketing and messaging. I didn't care for it so much, but they fixed it. But they had the games. I was like, oh, I want to play these games. And Xbox was known at the time, coming off the 360, for innovating and actually doing things to their console and modifying the dashboard, adding features here and there. And I felt that Sony, this was my Sony, I didn't like Sony because they just kind of rehashed dashboards. They didn't have party chat. They didn't have any of these things. And they were just trying to catch up to what Microsoft did in the 360 generation. So I preferred Xbox, and I went with Xbox One. But I know the feeling because I felt it. And that's what I'm telling you right now. To this day, I know what Xbox fans want. So back at that E3, after Microsoft announced these games, in addition to the issues they were having with the marketing, with sharing games and doing this stuff, sharing, how do you share games? We'll see that. And how do you do this? They announced the price at $500. Phil Spencer came out on stage. You know, the savior of gaming, Phil Spencer, came out on stage, stumbled and tripped over his words, and announced $500 for a console that came with a camera. But this camera sensed your heartbeat. It sensed your emotions. It was doing all these things. Snap and multimedia, which I love Snap. But that's besides the point. Sony, little old Sony, you know, the poor company that just can't fight with the big dogs, followed up that press conference at that E3 on that infamous date of June 11th. And they did this.
New titles on PlayStation 4 were equally focused on delivering what gamers want most, without imposing restrictions or devaluing their PS4 purchases. For instance, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 games.
DRM stuff was big talk back then. Hear the crowd's reaction. He said he didn't even know why they were going crazy like that, but he knew. DRM. Microsoft messaging. Even though they removed it.
That's a good thing.
See?
We believe in the model that people embrace today with PlayStation 3 and continue to demand. Just heard you there. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever.
This was all Microsoft messaging, just snapped back in their face. Sony's like, we're not doing what they're doing. You hear this oh crap moment, the crowd hype. The pivot.
In addition, PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play.
But they were cheering for the stuff that Microsoft was trying to force. Even though Microsoft got the pushback and actually
Or for
said
any type of authentication.
Said they were
If you
not
enjoy
doing it.
playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically.
Dude, you look at this now, you just laugh. But at that time, this was the pivot.
It won't stop working if you haven't authenticated within 24 hours.
Bullet point by bullet point, Microsoft fed them this generation because they stumbled over their messaging.
Of course, the experience on PSN will be amazing. Our goal for PlayStation Network on PS4 is clear. Build the best gaming network in the world. A network that is tuned to your...
And then, so after those things, we're not doing what Microsoft is doing. Even though Microsoft retracted everything, the message was out there that Xbox was forcing with the Xbox One online check-ins, DRM, all these things that kind of we're doing today, but they kind of forced it. Sounds something familiar, right? With subscription gaming. But I digress. So this day, you hear that crowd, the media, the fans, everybody pivoted. This was the day that the 360 generation, after dealing with red rings and stuff, were just like, enough. We don't want to do what you're doing. And Sony capitalized on that and changed the perception of Xbox. And they lost a lot of mind share on this day. I remember watching this and going, so frustrated. I'm like, well, Microsoft's not doing that anymore. Why are you cheering? It doesn't matter. It got out there. And they opened their mouths and Sony capitalized on it. And then they did this just to wrap it up. And this was the knife. Because one of the things too, before I get into the last thing, and I think everybody knows where this is going. This hurt because the message out there was Sony's going to do exactly what Microsoft is doing. Sounds familiar, right? And I know some people roll their eyes going, why are we talking about 2013? Because this is the essence of what drives the eagerness to jump on everything to give Microsoft the W, even though they're not delivering the games now that they used to deliver. That's the travesty of the whole thing. Here, they were delivering games. It was their marketing and messaging that killed them, and it took away from the games. Instead of embracing the games, they were embracing features and services to force the gaming industry to do things the gaming industry didn't really want to do. And because Microsoft went first, the message leading up to this E3 was that Sony's just going to follow Microsoft. Sony's just going to do that. They're going to have a $500 console. Everybody's doing online DRM. Everybody's doing this digital system. And Sony stayed quiet and waited for this E3 to go, we're not doing what they're doing. And they were celebrated, and the mind share shifted from you were an Xbox 360 owner, they did, to saying, I'm not dealing with that. And they lost a lot of people. I stayed. I played the games. I didn't get his help, but I felt the air get sucked out of the room. And I remember listening to podcasts and people that came out of this meeting going, order your PS4s now. Yo, I'm going PS4, PS. And I couldn't believe everybody that, like a lot of people I knew, a lot of pro channels, a lot of like podcasts, were all just like, I'm going PlayStation. And everybody just changed their mind 180 like that on this day from this conference. And it hurts. It hurt Xbox. It hurt them. And here was the final thing. Phil stumbling over $500 on E3. And this was one of the things that I said when they announced the One X. I was like, no way is Phil Spencer going to go on stage and announce another $500 console, because they got laughed off the stage after this one. And he went on stage in 2016 and announced an Xbox One X for $500. They didn't learn. Sony learned from dropping a $600 $599 go get a second job. They said, uh-oh, we're not doing that again. And they did this.
In the US, our cloud service technology.
Cloud services.
What that means is amazing gameplay that is fast and responsive. PlayStation's cloud service is a lofty ambition, but one that we expect to see evolve rapidly in the coming months, as access to console-quality content becomes more seamlessly accessible across a range of devices.
Wow. 2013 here.
We have worked
Who did it first?
PlayStation
Who copies who?
centered around PlayStation 4, together in ways that meet the demands of today's gamers. The world of console-based handheld.
Where is it? Enough of the cloud.
Unbeatable. And will continue to.
There it is.
I'm very proud to announce that PlayStation 4 will be available at $399.
The day that changed the world of gaming. hear?
399 euros. And for the folks in my homeland, 349 pounds sterling.
Sterling.
In the US and Europe this holiday season, it's a very compelling price that offers incredible value given the amount of entertainment PS4 will provide to gamers over the next decade and beyond. Is PlayStation the best place?
Hey, we heard decade and beyond. They're still making PS4s to this day. We're still in the decade. This is 2013. We still got next year, so 10 years. So why are we acting like they're still making PS4s like that is a failure of the PS5? Yeah, okay. Another narrative that people are just so silly just to try to get a W. Like, Microsoft stopped making the Xbox One in 2020, but PlayStation's still making theirs. You said 10 years and beyond, dude. That's what they do to their consoles. But this, they undercut the Xbox, and that hurt so bad. The mind share shifted. They put indies on stage when Xbox didn't focus on indies. That was another big topic back then. But this is why every time there's this little W, people jump on it because they want this moment. And this is not making fun of it, but when you sit there as an Xbox fan and saw this, it was a gut punch. It was a gut punch. It was something I was like, oh. And then you hear the media and DR, and they were still continuing it into the whole generation. But that's what drives a lot of people that went through this. And they look for that W now. But this is what Xbox fans want. They want that moment. They want Xbox to have that moment. That's why wait to E3, wait to this, because and that's why these E3 events like this are probably never going to happen again. So that moment might not ever happen. But this is what they're looking for. And Sony just took Microsoft messaging and basically shoved it down their throat. And they did this infamous video.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
PlayStation.
Dude. Over 18 million views of that video. So, why am I going in the past to talk about the future, to talk about now? And talk about, why this reaction? It's because that stuff stung really bad. And they are looking for that moment, that pivot point where everybody goes, I'm going to Xbox. The pivot. They thought it was the generation because history has shown the incumbent of the salesperson swaps of the lead console. So like the PS2 was the lead console, but then the 360 became the lead console for development, and the 360 generation was a W, right? For them, even though sales evened themselves out at the end, because PlayStation focused on exclusive games near the end of the PS3, and coming out with Last of Us was one of those transitional games, where Microsoft went at the end focusing really heavily on connecting entertainment and taking away, giving us Gears Judgment and stuff like that, not really ending the 360 generation very strong, but the mindshare was there. Sony capital, but then they went ahead and basically announced all this DRM and all this ambitious stuff, and Sony said, we're going back to the roots of what the 360 used to be, of what gaming used to be, and we're not doing all that stuff that Microsoft's doing. We're not following them. We're doing our own thing. We're just doing this. And that's how and it wasn't just the event and the cheering, but the mind share of the gamers was, I am going to PlayStation. It was elite. And you saw it now. So they thought that the PlayStation 4 won the generation, and the Xbox then was just poised to win this generation. That's what, remember, well, this is the 12 teraflop machine. This is going to win. And all this other stuff. They were like, we're going to win. Because we lost last gen, but the incumbent gets cocky And when they get cocky, the underdog comes back. And we're 2 years into this PS5 generation, and we have yet to see that. And it's still anticipated to sell it out 2-1 now. And I think this as I mentioned on the show, I think the whole CPU shortage and all this other stuff, I think is just delaying the inevitable of that. The PlayStation was just about to take off with the PS5, and the Series X and S were just going to kind of hang out there. Considering that Microsoft spent the last 4 years not really focusing on the console and really focusing on mobile phones and PC and everything. So that was the problem. I was like, you are not driving mindshare to your console. You're talking about it as a platform that's taking away the need to get the console. So how you expect to compete with another console that's focusing just on the console and you're focusing on everywhere else? And they're treating the PC like a side piece. You wait, you get your PC stuff later on. Microsoft's treating the PC like the elitist, that you are better than the console. We want to give you games before the console gets them. We'll tease the console owners thinking they can use keyboard and mouse support. But I digress. The thing is that the urgency, the eagerness to relive that moment, to have that pivot change. That's why Sony bad, Microsoft good. Like, Sony didn't do this, Microsoft good. They seek every little thing for looking for that slow clap. If you remember Not Another Teen Movie, where they would be like, and they're like, no, now's not the time, dude. Now's not the time. Like, trying to get a clap going. And every single time Microsoft does something, they jump on this because they think, is this the W? Is this what we get behind? Halo Game of the Year better than Battlefield and Call? Is this what we back up? We got Activision. We got Call of Duty, right? This is our moment. This is it. This is our E3 2013. And this is the issue. It's like they are trying to relive that time. They want that moment where they could be like, Sony, we got the mind share back. And my grinds my gears has been, in order to do that, Microsoft had to focus. They had to focus on the console and focus on games. And that was the thing they did not focus on for the last 5 years. They got the messaging. They could try to now capitalize on some amazing games. And they didn't. They didn't. They became diluted. They became spread too thin. But the Xbox fans want that moment. They want the slap in the face to Sony saying, touche, we got you back from that E3, because it burns. And what's funny is because you could see what I had up. A good friend of the Grindhouse, Destin, justifies these
Darth Raven.
These things right here.
Or Darth Revan. Microsoft Business has no dignity, man. Much respect.
Reading some look what he brought up. Whoa. Because people went around and were cheering what Aaron Greenberg did, a Crash Bandicoot, right? And they put their faces next to it, thinking that, Sony, we got Crash Bandicoot. This is our E3. This is what we're going to tease you back for. And what's crazy, did you say that I'm crazy for going back in time? He goes into the history books and going, well, why is this not okay? Look at what Sony did. It was okay for them.
The thing about them never doing anything like this, do you not remember when the Xbox One launched and literally this video came out where Sony, rightfully so, poked fun at the Xbox sharing system? They were showing how to share PlayStation 4 games, and this video blew up. This video has like 18 million views. It's very funny. It's 18.8 million views. This is on the official PlayStation account, step by step, how to lend games to your friends. And honestly, it's hilarious. It's a hilarious video. I think it's incredibly funny. Even during the Xbox One saga, when everything was kind of, oh man, we went from the 360 to this, I think we all kind of laughed at that and admitted, okay, yeah, pretty good. And also, you got to remember the PS4 launched $100 cheaper. So, continuing anyway on just some of the other reactions here.
It's justified to tease because Sony teased us. And then you remember this that followed up right after that. Oh, the resolution gate, just to drive the nail into the coffin if PlayStation wasn't the platform of choice So, these are acceptable. So we're going back and saying, this is fine. Sony dug deep. This is okay. Even though Microsoft doesn't own the IP yet. The deal didn't go through. But let's start doing this. A fan-made art of this. That's okay because Sony was mocking how to share games. We're looking for that moment. We're looking for that. We got Crash. All right, PlayStation guys, we got you. This is our 2013. This is justifiable because you did this to us back then. Now it's our turn. But it's been seeking this. They've been seeking this moment. And this is the thing that drives. That's why whenever you see some Xbox news or anything, there's this kind of herd that drives there to try to champion it. Crossplay. We crossplay. We're doing crossplay. Nobody else is doing it. Sony's not doing it. Bad Sony. This is our 2013. We did it. Crossplay. Sony's missed out. This is our chance. This is what we're going to jump on. Sony not doing crossplay. That's right. And now all you see is complaints. Oh, I don't want to do crossplay with PC. I don't want to do it. Meanwhile, all of them were jumping on that bandwagon during that E3 of 2018 going, Sony, better together, Nintendo and Xbox, PlayStation out. And they jumped on that. That was there. They're trying to recapture that 2013. They're trying to create the pivot with all the wrong things. That's my point. It's everything but. Just like that image of him doing the resolution gate. This is our moment. The Xbox One X. Our resolution will never be undersold. We have the Premier 4K, true 4K. Sony doesn't have it. This is our moment. This is the time. Slow clap. And what happened? The games do not reflect the power of the machine. The software doesn't talk about the 12 flops. This moment, 12 teraflops, the Series X. Sony is the weaker console. We got this generation. We're back. This is our E3 2013. 2 years in, where are the games that demonstrate that power? Searching, hoping, and wishing. They mocked us for this. It's all just reactionary, trying to beat Sony where Sony beat Microsoft. And this is the thing, in mind share. But now it doesn't work because look, Sony got the games. Not only did they get the mind share, but they got the games. And you tell me, what group you want to be. That's the thing. Sony has held strong in delivering the games. Now, granted, early in the PS4 generation, Sony didn't have the big blockbuster stuff. They didn't. But now, they've been hitting it on stride. So they got the mind share early on, and now they're delivering it. But it stings. It stings. And I'm not using him as an example for all Xbox fans, but I know, because I did it. I felt that way. I was like, we need to get back. And then after I realized when Microsoft wasn't focusing on trying to bring the console back to its glory with games, and they stopped making games in 2016 and 2017, shutting down studios, and we didn't know what was going on, and Sony just came out with these games. Sony capitalized again on Microsoft's weakness. Microsoft stopped making exclusive games after that Tomb Raider deal, after that thing, and they went on a different playground. And Sony stayed delivering quality games, and now they're doubling down on that. And they know they're focusing on the weakness of their competitor. Quality. content, exclusivities. And Microsoft's there just trying to throw out money wherever they can. And the Xbox fan wants that 2013 moment. They want to stick it to Sony wherever they can and get back vengeance for that moment. People say they moved on and all that other stuff, but no, it's not true. Trust me. It's not true. That's why wait to E3 is a thing, because E3 is where it happened. That's the battleground. That's why wait to E3, and Xbox holds E3, and Xbox fans love E3, because that's where it happened. That's where they could relive that, and they could stand on that stage. And Microsoft had that opportunity in 2019 to have that moment and give it to their fans. Because I don't blame the fans. That's the thing we don't understand. I don't blame them. I blame Microsoft for not giving the fans what they want. That's who I blame. You love the brand, love the brand. I blame them because they hear you. They know what you want. They know you want that moment where you stand out of your seats and cheer and clap because they got some game that Sony's been wanting or Sony had, and now they're going to make it their own and make it the best game. Or they show you a brand new IP that everybody is like, whoa. Then you stand out of your seats and go, my God. That's what they wanted. And Microsoft didn't deliver it. And they're just dragging you along through the mud, just carrying you along, banking on 20 years of Xbox, hitting you with nostalgia. Remember what we used to do? That's who you need to go after. That's Microsoft is not delivering what the fans want. Just nobody wanted. Nobody said Halo needs to be free to play. The fans didn't want that. The fans weren't like, buy Activision because we want Call of Duty. They were trashing on Call of Duty because they said Halo was better than Call of Duty. But now, guess what? Now you got Call of Duty. And then on top of that, it's not even a great deal because now they're committed to the next 3 games making up a PlayStation. So by the time the fruits of this $70 billion labor happen, who knows what's going to happen in the gaming industry? 3 years in the gaming industry, that is a lifetime. And again, that E3 2013 changed a lot. Mindshare, everybody shifted focus. It was a overnight, not a slow migration of people that just said, I'm done, I'm moving on to PlayStation. And that pivot point is being seeked out to this day of when are people going to go back to Xbox. And then people say, I don't want you back, I don't want you this thing. Why can't you just have both? You could have both. You could have all of them. Neutral gamer. But you have a preference. And it wouldn't hurt if something that you really like or the industry really wants is on your preference. You get it? Because you could have all the consoles and PC. Oh, but just like I saw with God of War. Oh, excited. I'm like, you play God of War on PlayStation and you have a PC. But it's on PlayStation. It's on PC now. Because you prefer PC. And now the game that you played already or you had access to and you chose not to is on PC. So you could have all the consoles you want, neutral gamer. But you have a preference. Everybody has a preference. If you don't have a preference, then I don't think you're that serious into gaming. You're just kind of a fly-by-night gamer. But if you have a preference, you will. Especially it's where you invest your money. There's your preference. But it hurt in 2013. It did. And it resonates to this day. And that's why, as an explanation, when you see these little moves or the big moves, whatever move that Microsoft makes, any little thing, cross-play, buying companies, getting all this other stuff, every little thing is celebrated like this is the moment. Is this the time? And you find out that it really doesn't work out that way. And it really has to be a back to the roots, great quality games that get Microsoft back into it. to be that serious, and not this because now it's all about Microsoft money. Oh, they got so much money, and like you're celebrating how much a $1 trillion company spends. That's what Xbox brand celebration is nowadays. Not a whole bunch of photos of look at this amazing game, look at this amazing experience that I have. No. It's Microsoft spending money. That's something that should be celebrated. Look at all the money they got. Sony can't compete. Well, I'll leave you with this, just like I left it with in the gaming Grindhouse. Poor Sony was able to lock down exclusive games and exclusive deals and outbid the richest company in the world. How did Sony get Deathloop exclusive and outbid the $1 trillion company throwing out billions of dollars? How did Sony get this exclusivity to Final Fantasy? How? How did Sony get Forspoken? How did Sony get Kenna? How did Sony get, what is that thing? Fist. All these indie games as well. How did Sony do that? They just outbidded the $1 trillion company Microsoft. Microsoft had all this money to spend. They used to with the $1 million for Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider. They spent the money. They showed you they could. So why in the last 5 years haven't they? Why they go to Steam Summer Sales page 7 going, we got a PC game coming to Xbox. Go to Steam Summer Sales page 7. We got it. Let's get that game over here. Here's the Medium. Dude. Where's your Marvel deal? Where's your Marvel game? Why didn't you get Wolverine? That's the question you need to ask. They're spending big money, but they're not spending big money to deliver games to you. They could have easily done that. How did poor old Sony outbid them? Because they don't want to do that. That's the thing. And you got to ask yourself, why doesn't Microsoft want to just give me games for my gaming machine? Because they're trying to sell me consoles. Why are they not getting me the games? When they got all the money in the world, they could easily outbid poor old Sony that doesn't stand a chance of big Microsoft money, and give me that E3 moment. Give me my 2013 slap in the face to Sony that I could say, look at this game, Sony. This is quality. Let's go. Touche. We all win. Gamers win. Quality versus quality. And we are the recipients of all that greatness. This is the Jez7780 with a Grinds Bite. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in. And if you want to join the Grindhouse, please hit that join button and get all those awesome emojis that you can put in our live show. But stay tuned for more Grinds Gaming Bite and the Gaming Grindhouse on Monday nights at 8:30. Later.